Just a quick video. Unfortunately, I don't have so much time to make a whole edit on this weekend, but I want to make more videos in this year generally. I promised that already to my patrons. Last year I took on so many projects, so I didn't have much time for YouTube, unfortunately, but I want to, put a better focus on it this year. So expect more content. And my last question on the channel by a user on a comment in the comment section was about NIO share price. So I want to give you a couple of my thoughts around NIO share price as it's going down currently, making almost new lows at this point. What are my expectations for 2025? And is there any catalyst for NIO stock currently, as we've seen sometimes good news? For example, my last video was about this whole NIO partnership now becoming fruitful with battery swapping partners actually bringing out their first models in Q3, or at least we're seeing the tests for it. But stock's still going down. What's going on there? So let me first say so much. NIO is currently trading at a price to sales ratio of around 1. And that may reflect, some problems in the past with expectations and also, not as much growth as previously expected. One might argue that this has been parts of the reason why the multiple has been going that low. As you hear me on the channel, I think there is also a bull case and another scenario in which NIO is not priced at even that low of a multiple. But the way I think about 2025 and going forward, I'm expecting, and I think I'm a little bit more ambitious here this time than the analysts' projections out there, around 14 to 15 billion in annual revenues. So on the annual side, this might, not be a doubling in revenues, but driven by an almost doubling in sales, possibly by NIO in 2025. And we've seen fundamentals backing that up in the last month and the last quarter of the last year. NIO in total in 2024 achieved 40% year-over-year growth, which is not shabby, considering, for example, companies like Tesla didn't even manage to grow. Arguably, of course, from a higher base level. So that's all fair enough. Every company is different, but we have to see that NIO is not doing tremendously bad on the growth metrics. But 2025, in my opinion, is going to be a better growth year than 2024. And despite the fact that I'm still with conservative expectations, I'm going as far out and saying that this might be definitely better than 2024. And on that metric, I would argue we should be at least at the same price to sales multiple than we are now. So a 1 price to sales. So that would bring us to a 14 to 15 billion price to sales metric. And as you know, the company is now valued below 10 billion. So, you could think of what that means for the stock, in my opinion. But additionally, there are many ways how NIO stock could actually also expand its multiple, because a price to sales of 1 is actually quite small for a growth company. I do know there are countless issues and question marks around NIO's future and so on. I mean, that's what all of the shorts and the bear case proponents are arguing. So it's remaining depressed at this level. But, for a growth company, trading more than one-time price to sales multiple isn't really an unnormal thing, especially that I would argue that NIO is much more than just a car company, given what they have at stake here as an asset with the battery swapping network, which can bring tremendous revenues outside of just the power replenishment. On top of that, of course, what they're doing on the software side, on top of what we're going to hear in 2025 on the AI front and self-driving stuff. So, discounting NIO here for just a traditional car maker, I think doesn't make that much sense either. But, given where it's trading currently, that's just what it is, right? It's not given the outlook or prospects of what it's actually is a platform and ecosystem business model that is, profiting from, I would say, network effects, from a entirely new business model in the industry and such. So quite an innovation company, in my opinion, but seems the market needs more also on the financial and profitability metric side, and as well as on, continuous growth and, more guidance that are being hit, that sort of thing, in order to build and regain more trust. But that's only on a company level. As the commenter is saying, there are good news around NIO, but it doesn't help the stock. So there's also tremendous stuff which cannot be influenced by NIO, unfortunately, which is about the macro environment. And, if the HSI, the Hong Kong Stock Index, is down 20%, then NIO is down 40%. If Hong Kong Stock Exchange is going up 20%, maybe NIO is going up 100%. That's just the nature of a risky startup, growth company type of stock with not the underlying financial metrics that Wall Street maybe wants to see in the short term. That's how volatile it is. And unfortunately, we're in this period where Hong Kong Stock Exchange is currently going down in this almost bear market situation. We will see whether or not it's going to enter a bear market at this point in time again, or if it can continue in this upward channel and making a higher low, I should say. So lots of that depending on these macro things, about which I'm pleased to announce that I'm having an interesting guest very soon on a channel, which I'll be interviewing about the macros, about China, about such things influencing Chinese stocks, equities, and NIO in particular. And he will also be speaking about his take about Trump and the implications on China. And you've heard me talking about a couple of videos what I personally think about where it's headed. Soon we have him in office, and I think there are interesting times coming up. I'm personally, looking positive and optimistic into the future, but it's certainly a very tough ride. So yeah, these are a couple of thoughts. Unfortunately, not a big edit on this video, but I thought better putting it out than nothing. So I hope you like that. If so, please smash a like and then keep on sharing it. And thanks for your support, and see you next week.